Hello everyone, this is Ben at Russound Tech Support. We did cover how to use an MBX-PRE on legacy products like the CAV, but I wanted to make a second video to directly address using an MBX-PRE on a C-Series control amplifier like the MCA-C3 and the C5, because although these are legacy systems that you can use the MBX-PRE in a specific manner, there's enough difference about them that the MCA-C-Series is kind of an in-between product, that there can be a few things that you need to know before you set this up, so you know how it's going to work, because it's not going to be like an MCA-66 or 88 with an MBX-PRE installed to it. So let's go ahead and just take a look here. We have, voila, our MCA-C3 hooked up down here, and let's get this off the tripod so we're ready to free roam. So we've got the MCA-C3 down here. This is already set up, and I have done a little bit of programming with this, nothing too crazy, but just kind of did some preparation here. We have our MBX-PRE all set up, ready to rock and roll. This is unlocked, activated, all that good stuff. It's very important that you leave this in zone mode. You are not going to use the MBX-PRE in source mode when you are using an MCA-C3 or MCA-C5. The reason is because the MCA-C3 or C5 doesn't have proper software support to utilize and control an MBX-PRE when in source mode. So you must use an MBX-PRE in zone mode if you want to adapt it to an MCA-C-Series. We have one keypad hooked in here as well. Let's go ahead and look at the back. MBX-PRE has, of course, power, our RCA outputs, and hardwired Ethernet connection, which I elected to do a hardwired connection. You can, of course, use this in Wi-Fi though. Following our connections down to our MCA. Power, of course, to the MCA itself. Wouldn't get far without that. I have a single pair of speakers connected to our zone number 1 only, just for demonstration here. And I have a single source of audio connected to our input. Our MCA-C3 has an integrated AM/FM tuner, so I'm actually not going to use source 1. I have in programming named source 5 for the MBX, so we're going to go ahead and plug it in here. And then I, of course, have my keypad plugged in for zone 1, as well as Ethernet for use with my Russound. Let's go ahead and go back to the front of the system now. Alright, so now we're back in the front. Let's go ahead and get it close to our MDK-C5 keypad, and we're going to turn on zone 1. If your MCA is set up for network control, you can of course use the My Russound mobile app to control it. Let's go ahead and go to the home page here. We're going to scroll down to sources, and now as far as I have it programmed here, I was doing a little bit of testing earlier, but I still have source 1 as the integrated tuner. I had a DMS set up for testing purposes, so that's why source 2, 3, and 4 are called DMS 1, 2, and DMS 3. My source 5 I have called MBX, and in parentheses I just put adjust in zone. That's just for my benefit, but you can absolutely call this source input whatever you want through the SCS-C5 programming software. You probably want to call it something that lets the customer know it's a streaming input, but we're going to get into a few other finer details here. So let me go and back and select sources. We're going to go to MBX source, and hey, you can hear some audio there. So you'll notice you don't see metadata here. In fact, it's saying connecting to media streamer. That's all dependent on what you actually program the MCA source input for this type. Let's go ahead and turn the volume down for a moment. I would definitely recommend on the MCA-C3 or C5's programming, for your device type that you set the input that you intend on using an MBX-PRE for, again in zone mode, I'd recommend you probably use miscellaneous audio. That way you don't get this error message showing on the screen, because if you tell the MCA that there's a streamer there, it's going to look for a streamer, but it can't find one because our MBX is not going to be communicating directly with the MCA. The only interaction the MBX-PRE is having with the MCA is just sending audio signal to it. That is it. My MBX-PRE I do have set up with a few presets as well. Number one is a tune-in station. And then number two is my Sirius XM stations.
And what's funny is at the top of the hour,
so this one you hear is tune-in. Let's press number 2 and go back to Sirius. So remember, we're not seeing metadata, and you're only seeing that error message because I don't have the device type properly set. You're still going to be able to control this zone of audio, such as volume control, stuff like that, right through an MDK keypad. You can also, of course, use the Russound mobile app to control functions of your MCA, such as turning them off and on as far as zones go and choosing your source input. Now, one thing that is going to be different when you are actually controlling the MBX is you will need to go into the Russound mobile app or an XTS or XTS Plus touchscreen keypad. The MBX-PRE will appear as its own zone separate from the MCA zones, because remember, this product is left in zone mode, which is the only way we're able to use this as of this time. So your MBX will be in the zone menu, and through the zone menu you can command the MBX directly, or you can simply cast to it from your phone or tablet, and then you will be required to either use your MDK keypads or the Russound app controlling the MCA to select the input that you have the MBX-PRE set on. So it's really no different than using, let's say, a third-party streamer to an MCA system, where you're just simply selecting the input of choice that you have your RCA connections made to. And then in this case, for direct control over the MBX, you will end up using the Russound mobile app or our touchscreen keypad options to control the MBX directly. One tip I would add for this setup as well, to make it easy to use, is make sure that you name your sources properly and also name your MBX properly, so everything's very easy to find and it's not hard to get lost when you're using the app to control the individual products. I would also recommend you set the turn on volume on your MBX to 100. That way you can preset this to maximum output. This is, at this time of the video, currently only available as a variable output. We cannot yet set this to fixed. So it'll make it a lot easier if you set this preset to 100 max volume output. That way your true volume control can be still accomplished through your zone keypads or Russound app when controlling the MCA. So I hope you've learned something about this, and I hope you're able to put it to some good use. If you have any questions, be sure to reach out to us. Thank you.